Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Power Vacuum. I'm your host, Belmont, and we have an update in the ongoing Nintendo versus Pocket lawsuit for infringement on patents. This is from GamesFray.com. Nintendo resorts to weird patent claims as its litigation against Palworld maker Pocketpair is struggling. Some of the best news I've heard all day. Context, we don't need context. Or I guess super quick context is Nintendo or dicks and retroactively tried to fit patents to basically cripple a company that made a popular game that was similar to theirs in some aspects in their eyes, and they want a piece of that cake. But the problem is the piece that they're asking for now is, I think, less than the amount of money they've spent on litigation. So what was the point really? To bring the company down, I guess, to tie them up in endless lawsuits so they can't continue. But what do we have here? All right, let's get back to the article. One, Nintendo's modified patent claims on the smooth switching of writing objects even when is awkward patent claim language. For a recap, Nintendo is asserting three Japanese patents against Pocketpair. Two of them related to the collection of characters, and the third is about the switching of riding objects, such as switching from horseback riding to flying, and the back of a bird-like character. Oh, to flying on the back. I misread that sentence. From riding a horse to flying on a character. We're now talking about the third, not the other two. We reported earlier this year that a Japanese patent attorney does not believe the Pocket Pair ever implemented that switching mechanism. Also, the gliding functionality that Power World had when it launched and when was recently removed because Pocket Pair was Nintendo's patent assertion to go nowhere was already demoed by Pocket Pair in June 2021. I did cover that. There's another video on that. 6 months prior to the original Nintendo patent application, based on which Nintendo then filed for new patents well after Power World's launch. As we explained in the article we just linked to, that what matters legally is not the filing date of the patent application, but its priority date. You can claim back priority to an order application if you file a new one that is derived from the same substance. However, Pocket Pair has presented plenty of prior art. It predates not just the patent applications, but also their priority dates. This concept of being able to derive something from an older, in this case, almost 4-year-old patent application while benefiting from the older priority date is very relevant now that we're talking about Nintendo having modified its smooth switching patent. The same principle applies to any modifications now. Nintendo can use the original patent application as a pool like a primordial soup. That's fair game. But it is limited to that because it would otherwise not be entitled to the original priority date. Yeah, see, that's just super fucking sketch, Nintendo. You go, oh, we're exploiting this loophole to amend. No, all amendments need to have a new date from the day the amendment is submitted. Period. End of discussion. This priority date shit needs to end unless it. No, it just needs to end. Anytime you update a patent, you should have to update it, and it should be from that point forward. It should not be retroactive to the original filing of a patent. Like that's just insanity because you could release an invention, somebody could take that invention, change it, improve it, and release their own, and then you retroactively fit their new changes that they made to your patent and then take it away from them. That's what this is trying to do, and that's fucked up. That should never ever be a thing. That destroys innovation. It's insane. So what did Nintendo do then? Here's a PDF in which we saved an English machine translation provided by the JPO itself. How long is this? 19 pages of what? I'm just going to put a link to this page in the comments if anybody wants to come and read these 19 pages of trial decision display. Can we get a summary here? Here's a decision that finds those claims do not introduce a new technical matter, meaning that, to use our metaphor from further above, the modified claims are still based on what is found in the 2021 primordial patent soup. Yeah. When we looked at the new claims, we were neither convinced that Power World, at least in its current form, infringes them, nor that they are capable of overcoming Pocket Pair's strong invalidity defense. But what really stood out in its way the claims are worded, here's just one passage. as the claims as a whole would be too long and frankly cumbersome. You can find them in the first PDF anyway. Okay, so this is the claim language. And when, emphasis added, even when, so they're adding emphasis to even when, any boarding character other than the aerial boarding character capable of moving in the air is the currently selected boarding character, and a first operation input is given when the player character is in the air. The computer causes the aerial boarding character to appear in the virtual space and causes the player character to board the aerial boarding character instead of the currently selected boarding character from among the boarding characters. So, what it sounds like is when you're in flight, you can switch to another Pokemon in flight, and your character will move from that one to the other one as it enters and the other one leaves. My best interpretation of that. Now, patent claims are not like everyday language, but the above type of wording is extremely contorted, trying to complicate things for the purpose of putting up a huge smokescreen, and above all, even when is normally not found in patent claims. Conditions if slash when are normal in patent claims, but even is a word that has no place in patent claims. It is too emphatic and subjective. Patent claims have the purpose of describing how certain means are used to achieve a particular end, and to do so in a way that at least those who know a thing or two about patent law will have an idea of what the patent covers. The name of the game is the claims. The claims each patent can have, and usually does have multiple claims, define the scope. It is almost a Hail Mary and desperate attempt to win by doing something odd. However, presiding judge Motoyuki Nakashima is very experienced in patent law. He can't be gaslighted by strange claim language. Second point, new U.S. claims may still not enable Nintendo to bring a reasonably strong U.S. patent lawsuit against PoKEPAIR. By changing its gameplay mechanics, PoKETpair has apparently reacted to Nintendo's patent filing activities in the US, where it is not suing so far and may have an opportunity to gain anything from litigation. Nintendo doesn't give up easily. Even after a setback, it found a way to keep a patent application alive and received a notice of allowance in the spring. If Pocket Pair had made some further changes to Power World, the notice of allowance would have resulted in a patent Nintendo would probably have argued to be infringed by Power World. Instead of taking that I'm sorry. Instead of taking what the patent examiner was finally willing to grant, which just required Nintendo to file a free within 3 months, the company, however, decided to wait until the end of the term and present a new set of proposed claims. It is a fairly common tactic to ensure that at least one application from a given patent family is still being examined, meaning that one can still try to react to changes, such as a new Power World releases, with new claims that could then be optimized to sue over a given product. Nintendo can't be blamed for that. So this is a common tactic to like retroact. We need to just make that illegal worldwide. Go like get fucked. Think of new ideas, create new patents, amend patents, but amendment should be from the date of amendment application, not the date of priority. The claim language presented in the US is not as odd as the one in Japan, but wordings like selected based on the selection operation are what linguistics call tautological. And at this point, we can't see how those new claims would read on Power World in its current form. To read on in patent law means the patent claims covers something, meaning there's an infringement argument. We just wanted to share the above document from the USPTO record as an update. It looks like a cat and mouse game, which is why we mentioned the decades old Tom and Jerry cartoon further above. We will continue to keep an eye on the dispute because we know that many games are interested in it. We respect Nintendo's true innovations, which are technical in nature and not game rule patents. It's just hard to make sense of what Nintendo is doing in the Power World context. Maybe Nintendo itself is slowly but surely getting to the point where it can't make sense of it anymore. Yeah, but they're, in over their heads. Nintendo really fucked up with this, and even if they realize it now, it might be too late for them to not garner a bad reputation from this for trying to destroy a company with retroactive ideas and back catalogs and backfiling basically, which to me is insane. But it seems that Nintendo is on the ropes and Pocket Pair is looking to gain leverage or the upper hand in this fight because When you have to start doing weird tricks and changing language in the middle of the lawsuit, you're not winning. That's just, my take on it, but it definitely feels like you're not winning. But that's all I have for this story. This is your host, Belmont, signing out.